Hey, this is Matthew with Another World Terraria, and boy have we got an adventure in store. I'll give you a really quick backstory on this terrarium. This terrarium was already planted with some rare plants, ferns, peperomia, philodendron, and all kinds of stuff. When I purchased it from a guy, he had a huge collection of amazing plants, and he was moving to Ecuador, and he had to sell most of his stuff. So I got this for a pretty good deal, and the plants started to grow out of the top, and I didn't do anything about it, and here it is. So it's kind of ridiculous, but this is it. What we're going to do is we're going to pull all these plants out, and we're going to see what's in there and what's still alive. I have no idea what's in there or what we're going to discover, so together you and I are going to do this adventure. Let's go for it. The primary thing that's coming out of here is this peperomia right here. It's a really beautiful species. Obviously this stuff is nutrient deprived because I haven't fertilized it. Probably what I'll do is I'll just cut all these peperomia. I'll just go around here and cut all this off, trim it. I'm going to take all of the plants from this terrarium and I'm going to put them into various bioactive grow bins. I have some tutorials or tutorial series on how to make bioactive grow bins that I use for most of my plants now. So I'm going to put all of these, everything I take out of here, I'm going to put in those bins and grow everything out and get it all back to health again and propagate things. And so this piece looks pretty nice. This is a miniature philodendron of some sort. The guy's moving to Ecuador, or he did, and he's down there now. He works with some kind of frog conservation organization, and so they breed endangered species of frogs, and they offer them for sale, but obviously it's, you know, the primary purpose of what they're doing is conservation. They're not trying to make this into a business. The funds from selling the frogs, you know, helps with the conservation efforts and helps fund what they're doing. And then of course by getting frogs into the hobby in other countries, they're able to, you know, that's helping with conservation too, to make sure that there's a good population, you know, a backup kind of sort of an insurance policy. This is getting crazy. I guess I'm just gonna start ripping things out of here because there's not much else I can do. This is very sad. I'm very sad about this. Really wish I hadn't let it get this bad. So I'm going to take these peperomia. I have a couple just empty plastic bins that I'm just going to throw a bunch of this stuff in as I work. And then I'm going to go through it and sort it and stuff. So put all this in here, and then I'll mist it with some distilled water, the plants, keep them from dying until I can plant them. Now this philodendron is really cool. The leaves get bigger than this a little bit, maybe like 2-3 times the size, but that's still really small, and it's got really nice foliage. I think there will still be some decent plants in here surviving. Let's see. Unfortunately, the entire clump of stuff is all grown together. The roots are down into the sphagnum down there, and this is going to be a little bit of a challenge here. Super nice philodendron, obviously nutrient deprived because I'm lazy and didn't take care of it. A lot of plant collectors, such as myself, that are addicted to these things. You know, we get so many different plants and so much stuff going on that it's just hard to keep track of everything and take care of everything, and we're kind of obsessed with it, so we're always looking at new plants. And yeah, hey, I admit it. I admit that I make mistakes and that I'm not perfect. This is going well, sort of. The whole thing with the sphagnum moss and everything just like flipped over, so there's the whole root ball there of all the plants combined. Oh wow, I didn't even realize how big this piece was. Look at this. It just goes on and on and on and all down in there. Now we're getting into the meat of things here. I'm gonna need a lot of space to grow all these things out into bins. Gonna have to get creative with it. Here's more of that micro philodendron. Look at that. It's crazy. I love that one. I'm gonna start taking the smaller plants and putting them in their own separate bin away from all these huge clumps of peperomia and stuff so that I don't lose these things. Also, I'm gonna have to go through everything carefully and pick through it little bit by little bit to make sure I don't sort of lose track of any rare small plants. Here's some of that Elaphoglossum peltatum. Man, that's nice. This species comes in many different forms. It comes in hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of different forms. They're all essentially the same species, but they're just cryptic, you know, forms or clones or subspecies or whatever, and they're not really identified per se. So it's just like many different frond forms, dramatic differences to the point that you would never actually think they're the same species. But this is one of the nicest forms I've ever seen. I really like this form. It's beautiful. There's a nice rhizome here, so that's good.